Anyway, now that we're all happy and cheery from that conversation, let's get confirmation over your national champions and so much else. A final look at our stats for the season, so on and so forth. You live in Maine. How much worse is the weather compared to, say, Toronto? It depends because, you know, that part of Ontario gets lake effect. You know, being on Lake Ontario, that fucks with the weather a lot. Same thing as to why Buffalo weather can be really fucking weird. Level 17 for our head coach. Let's go. You notice oh, dude, I just realized we're never going to break records, are we? It's almost impossible for someone to break a record now being on this team. Jesus. That's sad. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, here can be pretty inconsistent too. So, I mean, relatively the same in terms of it can get really fucking cold. It can be warm unseasonably. It's kind of similar. It really doesn't matter what the hell we put these points on because I'm just going to reset the tree in the off season anyway. So let's just do that. Your national champions in 2022 are the Buckeyes. Nebraska gets absolutely shit on in a national title game. Ohio State gets it done. Wow. Orange Bowl. Wow, Air Force shut out Miami. Jesus Christ. Boise State wins the Cotton Bowl. Penn State, the Sugar Bowl. USC wins the Fiesta Bowl. Louisville, the Gator Bowl. Rose Bowl to Notre Dame. And Syracuse wins the Citrus Bowl. Aside from that, Tony the Tiger goes to Mid-Tennessee State. And of course, the greatest bowl game of them all, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, won by Kansas State over Texas A&M. So with that, let's get one final look. We finished the season ranked number 13. Throwboy was 5th in the NCAA in passing yards. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Maybe we should drop the quarters down to 5 from 7. I don't know. I don't know how the hell he possibly would have been up there. Didn't want to look at career stats because we got to look there in a minute. But for season stats, Throwboy, 3,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 17 picks. He had a couple of extra picks that he probably shouldn't have had. Not quite Jameis Winston. Not quite. 1,500 yards for Usain Colt with 15 touchdowns. How the hell was he not in the conversation for the Heisman? Throwboy had 3. Sanderson, big old dumper, had 5 rushing touchdowns this year. Receiving wise, 54 receptions for TA Magnum Cowboy. Also led the way in yardage with 800. Touchdown leader, though, was Big Bill Hells with 9. 9 touchdowns on 34 receptions. Not bad. Blocking wise, anybody in double digits? No. It's pretty good. Defensively, 89 tackles for fake punt. 30 tackles for loss for On a Steel Horse I Ride. The junior sack leader with a 9 was Hand Henry. You had Toby Keith with 8. 4 for On a Steel Horse. 3 interceptions each for Reba McIntyre and Who You Call Him Pinhead. Again, Reba should have had one in the bowl game. Kicking. Let's hope we can solve that kicker issue at some point in the near future. But 2022 comes to an end for us. Again, we know we're up to level 17. We get some awards this year. And they have offered us a contract extension. Of course, we're going to take it. 5 more years. As you get a look at our history, 94 and 40 lifetime in our 10 years at Wyoming. 9 and 10 all time against the top 25. 5 and 3 for a bowl record. And again, the second time that we've pulled off the double. It is 6 straight years with at least a bowl game or a conference title victory. 6 straight years of at least 9 wins in a row. Like, that is an incredible incredible 10-year stretch for this program with these restrictions. That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. We are, of course, staying here. Hopefully I never lose this head coach because we'd be screwed. Jimbo Fisher has retired at Texas A&M, and Bill Napier has had his contract expire in Florida. Of course, we are not going to move to either, but I'm intrigued to see if we lose a coordinator. Not even one losing season. That's the real shock of it, I would say, is just the absolutely absurd consistency, really. Let's see, for the coaching changes, did we lose anybody? Yes. Defensive coordinator Lapoy has left. Steve Morrison has been brought in while Paul Petrino is still on as our offensive coordinator. So we will have a new defensive coordinator this season. We'll try to figure out where Lapoy went. It has to be a head coaching job, I would imagine. Let's see if we can find out where he went. Let's see. What do we got? Napier ended up staying in Florida. Nothing too crazy so far. Tressel. Wow, Tressel's already left NC State. He wasn't there long at all. Our former defensive coordinator. Tressel's already gone. And is now the head coach at Rutgers. Good for him. Steve Sarkisian still at Texas. Lapoy is now the head coach at Toledo. Fair enough. We have graduated a lot of coordinators into head coaching positions. Absolutely outstanding. In terms of players leaving, we say goodbye to running back Usain Colt. Finishes with 1,700 yards and 16 rushing touchdowns in 2 seasons. We say goodbye to T.A. Magnum Cowboy, who's projected and will go in the 4th round. 8 career touchdowns on 1,500 yards and 106 receptions. We also say goodbye to Big Bill Hells. Dude, we had some mammoth wideouts in terms of height. Damn. 11 career touchdowns for him. Long man. Yep. At tight end, we say goodbye to Clippity Clop and Get Booed, who both elect to graduate. Instead of going pro, left tackle Rigged Rafflebot is gone, as is left guard Pat Rickwa. At right guard, Adam Sandler. And right tackle, 5-card stud, the pride of Waxahachie, Texas. On defense, we lose middle linebacker Fake Punt. Right outside linebacker, Louisiana, let him go. Corners, Rocky Balnoa and Reba McIntyre. At safety, Caught That Sucker. And that's that. We do lose a lot of high-quality talents. Not an absurd amount of guys graduating this year compared to some of the years in the past. We haven't had a transfer in for goddamn ever. And we still don't, because 25 scholarships, of course. So, there you go. It's good news, actually, that we haven't had a transfer in forever, isn't it? Draft results, of course, they always basically go where the hell they were projected to go. 4th and a 6th round pick. Recruiting, we have nothing left to do there. That's quick and easy. That's already done. We have our 25. We'll never end up with the top class. All that fun stuff. We already know how that works. Already know. Never end up with the top class. But I think it's 11 for the first name, 12 for the last name. 9, 9, and 7 for 25 recruits. That's not bad. Still a 5-star program. It'll be difficult to get up to 6. We'll see if we can make it. Actually, I want to see who had the top recruitment class. I wonder where the hell Bama was. They are in such a weird spot. Not top 10 for Bama. Michigan, number 1 on the board. Where the hell's... Oh my God, where is Bama? 21st. Not a single 5-star recruit for Alabama. Just 17 in total. Wow. The Crimson Tides are changing, to say the least. For position changes, let's see what we have here. This could be an interesting one for us. Let's start first with the athletes. We have Henry Williams, 66 fullback. Oh, he's a lineman. Yeah, he's a lineman through and through. You know what? We'll go back there actually last. So Pillsbury Throwboy, now a senior. He's going to stay at quarterback for obvious reasons. Chuck Wagon, I imagine, will also be staying. And then there was a Red Baron Showdown, who could move to running back, wide receiver, or the secondary. I mean, we could play him anywhere. Running back, Saddle Sore Sanderson is also best at running back. Boots on my feet. You know, let's just look at the new boys first, and we'll see if we have to move anybody. Brian Paul at running back. He's where he needs to be. What about Brandon Holt? He's also in his best position. At fullback, Antonio McLaurin. Ooh, he could be a good offensive lineman. Why keep him at fullback, right? There's no reason. Move him to the O-line. Or even tight end. Yeah, no reason to keep that guy at fullback. Wide receiver, it's looking a little bit short. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Moving McLaurin to tight end does give us 3 tight ends. That's probably actually the best way to go about it. The O-line, we know we'll have to fix up. The defensive line. McKinney at 79 speed. This is Foley's baby boy. Should hit at least 70 speed. So should Hillary Clinton. On the other side, no one to worry about. Defensive tackles. Steel Horse, we'll leave him there. Linebackers. Tate should hit 80 speed. We're looking okay there. In the secondary, he should hit 90 speed. Richardson won't quite, so I might move him to linebacker. He should hit 90. He should hit 90. He will not. He is definitely getting moved to linebacker. As is Medlock. A lot of our safeties ended up being better at linebacker. So another member of the secondary is absolutely needed. It looks like we'll be okay at linebacker. We are definitely okay on the defensive line. Could always use an O-lineman. Never a bad idea to get another offensive lineman. Another wide receiver. Okay. So offensive line, wide out, and safety. We know that Williams can play on the offensive line. That's where he's going. Michael Burns can play wide out. He can also play quarterback or in the secondary. What about John Miner? Running back, wide out, or in the secondary. Okay. So one goes to wide out, one goes to the secondary. That's pretty much the way we have to play it. Unless we wanted to move Throwboy to wide out, but that wouldn't make sense. Just leave the dudes who are at wide receiver at wide receiver. I mean, you could maybe argue Red Baron, but he is a sophomore with 90 speed. If we could train him up as a quarterback, he's going to be an absolute weapon. Not that these guys aren't that bad. I mean, Minor, he couldn't play QB, though. Okay. Given the strength, the agility, break tackle, trucking, elusiveness is terrible. Ball carrier vision is better. 90 stiff arm. There you go. It's going to be Michael Burns at wide receiver. John Miner goes to the secondary. So let's take a look here. We have our 3 quarterbacks. We're going to need to scout out QBs this year because we have 2 seniors. That's a little bit scary. We might actually end up with a walk-on. In terms of running back position, I don't think anybody can go to quarterback. They can't. So if we end up on if we end up with a walk-on at quarterback, I'll just have to cut him for now. We know the Jar Jar's better there. We know the big old Dumper's better there. We got the wideouts. This upcoming recruitment class is going to be very tough. Very, very, very tough. It's going to be one of those where now we know, right? If there's a year like this year where we only had like 2 dudes, that's the calm before the storm in terms of needs. And this next year is going to be no exception. 3 it over. All right, so what's this O-line going to look like? Again, Enos is better on the outside. So is Funk. So is 45. Move Sosa to the middle. Keep Bryson Brown on the outside. Pistol Fingies back to the middle. Williams. Dixon can stay on the outside. Sheen back to the middle. Threepwood back to the middle. Personality stays on the outside. And then Holloway on the outside. Sosa's a +4. Fingy's a +2. Williams is a +3. So move Sosa over. Move Williams there. Move Sheen. Move both of these guys over to right tackle. Keep Brown there. We'll move Personality over. Technically, I do need... Oh, man. I need to put somebody at right guard, and I need a backup center. Let's move Bryson Brown to backup center. Speed, awareness. Let's go with Terrio Funk at right guard. And we'll move nobody. I think that's fine. It'll do. It's not amazing, but it'll do. Defensively, I mean, again, we are absolutely loaded on the defensive line. That is just the best players that happen to be available. Let's see, we'll move Keith and Bo Jiden over. I mean, pretty much just divvy these players up evenly. See who makes it and see who doesn't. Crap load of defensive tackles. Let's double check what we have at linebacker. We are going to have quite a few people in that position. At least 3 middle linebackers. We are going to have a crap load of players to cut, man. Holy hell. All right, so let's see. Meat Mountain stays the same. Bone Spurs gets worse. Brannigan gets worse. More to the middle. Johnson stays the same. Tea Party to the middle. Roland Rawhide on the outside. Quinn on the outside. McGillicuddy. Slowpoke Sam to the middle. Tate stays on the outside. Richardson on the outside. Medlock on the outside. We do have 2 guys there that are going to get better. So we want Mountain and Bone Spurs on the outs. Brannigan and Johnson on the outside. Move Quinn to the middle. Oops, didn't mean to move that extra guy to the middle, though. Put Richardson on the outside. So that is 5, 4, and 4. Not bad. Last thing, the secondary. I hope we have the proper numbers for this. There's a great chance I end up with a walk-on. Let's see. So +1, another +1, +2, +2, another +1, +7, +6 for the Rainbow. Taste Chambers a +9. Jingle Jangle at a +10. Minor at a +2. Cluggins, yeah. End up with one safety short to not end up with a walk-on. Minor was a +2. Concepcion. Pebbles is a +2. Anybody else better than a +2? No, let's just move Minor over there. I mean, with 5 corners, I shouldn't end up with a walk-on. Keyword is shouldn't. I can't exactly guarantee it. Wish I could. I'm just afraid if we end up with a walk-on and it's somebody that I can't cut, it'll be a bit of a problem. It'll be Kyle Richardson that we end up moving back to safety just because of the speed. But him or like Zap Brannigan. I'm gonna risk it. I mean, I feel like 5 corners is enough to not have to deal with it. Worst case scenario, I can move a punter to corner and then we should be fine. I think I can cheese it a little bit. So we have 2 kickers and 3 punters at the moment. Who the hell can actually do anything? That is the question. Right. The top 2 are seniors. I mean, Kevin Miranda, for that accuracy, is someone you want to trust, but he doesn't quite have the power. And there's Jimmy Rich. Okay. Campbell's getting moved back to punter. We're going to keep Miranda. And we're going to keep Jimmy Rich. And I think Johnson's the odd man out. We'll move him to corner and then just cut him. So we don't end up with a walk-on. I think we're good. Bit weird to get to where we want to get, but I think we're all right. Training results. 88 for Pillsbury this year. Much better. Can you actually throw now? 82 throw power, but 93 accuracy. Jesus Christ. The running game at least looks like it should be decent. Powerful, but decent. 82 fullback. Couple of good wideouts, but again, we don't have the quarterback to make the most of their frickin' speed. He's not consistently a 90 rated tight end as a junior. Beer is my water. That's an amazing player. I mean, yeah, we again average +5s, +6s for the most part. It's going to be another good team. The big question will be whether or not we've hit our limit of promotion. I think we could eventually hit that wall. It's a good team, though. 95 rated kicker, an iceberg, and a 90 punter. It's good. Cutting players we know is going to be painful. 10 players need to be released. Right. We know most of them will come from the defensive side of things. Case in point. Hate to say it, but Leslie Roden is on the outs. You're not that much better. Well, I mean, Hillary's only a 78 as a junior. Hillary's worse than two-stepping on your grave. And if Roden gets at least a +4, you're already better. I hate to say it. Hillary Clinton, you're cut. You will not be the president. The right end side, same story for Sniff Wax Hippie Hair. You just have Daniel Franz, who's going to be better. Or at least as good. But will actually be better. Hippie Hair, you're cut. Defensive tackle. Christ alive, do we have skill at this position? Quite a few sophomores as well. Oh, man. This just got more difficult to do what we want to do. We do end up with a walk-on at corner. Nope, that was the punter. That's right, that was by design. We'll get rid of him. I don't want to have to recruit new people, so we can't cut anybody there. I still have 7 people to get rid of. Shit. There is an argument to get rid of Brandon Holt. It'll mean I'll have to recruit running backs at some point over 2 seasons from now, but we'll get rid of Brandon Holt. Might as well carry both fullbacks so we don't have to worry about that. We're going to need wideouts. On the offensive line, we don't have room to cut anybody. So back to the defensive line. It's got to be Leslie Roden. I mean, if you're a +5, you're just as good as two-stepping. And Spencer Harper's a sophomore. Roden's gone. On the other side, it's got to be McKinney. It's got to be Justin McKinney. Defensive tackle, we got to clear people out here. Let's go for Jeff Jackson. I know he's a sophomore, but 73, he's weaker than the other 2. This gets real tough here at defensive tackle. Oh my god. For linebackers, we'll get rid of Jerome Medlock, who's just not that good. That's 70 overall guy. Kyle Richardson, get rid of him. One more. I think it's got to be another defensive tackle. I don't want to get rid of any of these guys at all. Shit. Shit. Who is the final player to go? It could be Big Old Dumper, but seemed like a very wise decision. Oh, no easy decision to be made here. I feel like two-stepping's never going to outplay Mrs. Foley's baby boy. Whereas Glensky can take over on that other side. Two-stepping, I'm sorry, you're out. We knew it would be a hard cut. I want to keep that strength at defensive tackle. There was no easy decision to be made there. Not at all. We have promotions, relegations to hand out, and then renamings to divvy up. We also have to redo the coaching skill trees really quickly, especially given that we have a new coordinator again. Seems like almost every year, every other year, we end up with new coordinators. He's not bad, but with 13 points available, we have taken a hit at defensive coordinator. He's not as good as who came before him, unfortunately. And from here, pipeline states for the bonus points. Let's do it. And let's get the extra recruitment points. We're so close, I feel like, to getting the Saban factor. For defensive coordinator. It's not going to be pretty. Yeah, we took a pretty bad hit there. That stamina boost for the offense. Catching. Break tackle. A little bit at quarterback. Yeah, pretty much end up with the same tree that we had. Okay, that works. So let's get confirmation. Promotion and relegation. Let's lock it in. We start in the Sun Belt. Promoted as champions, Eastern Michigan. They will be bumped up for El Paso, while Central Michigan have been relegated for Akron. That is the brand new Sun Belt heading into next season. Allow me to update things on my side. It's interesting to see what teams are still there, but if any, there has been a lot of change. A lot of change in that bottom tier, even since we've been there. All right, we move up to the SEC. Nevada promoted as champions. They will be replacing Colorado State, while Indiana have been relegated for Charlotte. So that is the brand new SEC. Not quite at its modern power. Not quite. For the Pac-12, promoted as champions, Toledo. They'll be jumping to the Mountain West for USF. And Louisiana Tech have been relegated for the New Mexico Lobos. That is the brand new Pac-12, including Navy. Stuck in the Pac-12 despite being ranked highly, I might add, on numerous occasions. So, you just never know. Louisiana Tech were one of the long-standing teams in the Mountain West prior to that relegation. Promoted from the Mountain West as champions, Air Force heading to the MAC, taking over for Fresno State, while Army have been relegated for Illinois, the brand new Mountain West. And the promotions and relegations also certainly interesting. Army, I did not expect to go down, especially given that they've beaten us 4 or 5 times in a row. From the MAC, promoted as champions, your Wyoming Cowboys, as we will be taking over for SMU. Houston have been relegated, and they will lose their spot for BYU. So that is the brand new MAC heading in to next season. Relegations, Houston and SMU. Brand new MAC. In Conference USA, promoted as champions, Minnesota. They will be replacing Oregon State, while Iowa State have been relegated for Michigan State. So that is Conference USA. We are in the tops division with Oregon State, Purdue, Tulsa, Virginia, and Washington State. Our division for the 2023 season has been confirmed. I feel like I prefer it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe our side's the more difficult side compared to what BYU ended up with in the draw. It might be. In the Big Ten, Nebraska have been promoted as champions. They will be replacing West Virginia, while Memphis have been relegated for Boise State. So that is the brand new Big Ten. Down West Virginia and Memphis. In the Big 12, San Diego State promoted as champions. They will be taking over for Wisconsin, while Virginia Tech have been relegated for the South Carolina Gamecocks. The new Big 12 officially locked in. And now with Wisconsin and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech made a good run when they had that unreal quarterback, but rough ever since. In the American, the U, Miami, have been promoted as champions. They'll be taking Oklahoma's spot, while Clemson will be replaced by Mizzou. Brand new American Conference. Officially confirmed for our next season. Love a typo. Gotta love the typo. And then the ACC promoted to the Superior Six as champions, the Florida Gators, as they will be replacing, unsurprisingly, Alabama, and Michigan will be replaced by the Georgia Bulldogs, your new ACC. As Bama, is that the first time? I think it is the first time Bama's fallen out of the Superior Six. I think. It might be the second. But indeed, that is your second tier ACC. And the Superior Six. Heading into next year, the Gators, the Bulldogs, the Buckeyes, the Nittany Lions, the Longhorns, and the USC Trojans. Quite the Superior Six. Tim Tebow's back. Penn State resurrected Joe Pa. And now they know how to win football games again. But we will be no longer in the MAC, but in Conference USA. Man, I'm worried. I'm worried about what this could be. Man, look at, by the way, Tulane, Boston College. Eventually, we'll probably go to BYU. An interesting setup there in the conferences. But Chad, it's time for the main event. We got new players to rename.